I'm finna kill niggas in the building. Amen. I tell her where to fit the bottles, and she tell me say when, and I say church. We make it light up like a church. She wanna fuck and I say church. Do live Sunday like a church. Praise. That I'm forgiving for caring about how they living and loaning a little money and keeping them out of prison. I ain't lying in my verses, I'm just telling you the basics of growing up with your friends and becoming the one that made it.
Yeah, what up? I just finished watching, I'm almost finished watching New Breeze channel. He had a posting called Kyrie Irving suspended for 5 games with no pay. Alright, so in this video he brings up a very good point, of what are we going to do with the information that we have. And if people are more so solely entertained by, the hoopla that's happening in the media regarding, black people being the true Jews, the true Hebrews of Israel. And the fact that I just want to put out there, this brother probably will never watch this video, but the fact of the matter is from the 430 years in Egypt, where Hebrews were, enslaved. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now I could be wrong. I have to go back to scripture, but there had to be some level of understanding or mathematics applied to the slaves. I believe the slaves were actually treated much better in Egypt, though it was fucked off because they would kill the boys, and that's where your Planned Parenthood come from. It's the spirit of Herod. Herod was scared to death of Jesus Christ. That's why he had to be born in a manger. This nigga went all through town killing boys that were 2 years and younger. Terrified of them. And from those 430 years, this feeds into a lot of things. It feeds into, sisters, and niggas, don't get it twisted. I have not dated yet, a black woman. And generally, me growing up in the suburbs, I guess, I didn't have the swagger as other niggas did. I walked very militant. Usually when my people see me, they think I'm, some type of military, special forces, or part of the police or something like that. White people think it too. I just walk, man. That's just how I walk. I'm hyperactive. I got somewhere I need to go. I know where I'm going. I get in and I get out. It's objective and it's tactical, but quite frankly, that's what you would be doing anyway. Most people don't walk. They kind of mosey around like gnats. Now, getting back to my point, you have high education in Egypt. Egypt was, very, I don't want to say blessed, but like prominent. Even to today, people reach back to like Egypt. And when you look at like, the pyramids and the hieroglyphics, and it's a very rich culture. I mean, nobody can really fuck with that. And to be honest, not even fucking Rome. Rome can't fuck with Egypt. Egypt, I ain't gonna front with you niggas. Egypt was decadent to a motherfucker, man. Them old towns, I added this channel called Consciousness on YouTube. And it was showing, I think it was showing Babylon. And you guys, it looked heavenly. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was otherworldly beautiful compared to this concrete jungle we got down here today. And I'm gonna get to that. But back to this little history lesson. Egypt was decadent, okay? Very rich. As far as empires go in times, I know there was like the Roman Empire, which it was a huge empire and everything like that. But as far as decadence and culture, Egypt, and Egypt, I will say this, Egypt was probably, in my opinion, slightly blessed. You want to know why? Because the Hebrews were there. And God knew that if he blessed that would also impact the slaves. He wasn't doing it for the Egyptians. And it did. So brothers knew how to do certain things. Like take for instance, a wonder of the world, the pyramids. There is indication in that scripture that those pyramids, and also a second witness, there's a movie called Scorpion, and it's an Asian exploitation film, and it shows these Asian women building the pyramids. Okay, so we know that the Hebrews were in bondage, and we know for a long time that they were killing the men. Okay, the little baby boys and shit like that. Everybody when it comes to this movie shit want to give props to like fucking Spartans and shit like that. But niggas, they wasn't really living like that. Like we was living like, we thought that shit was normal. You understand what I'm saying? Like they would throw us into a stream. You know what I'm saying? A baby boy, you know what I'm saying? A Hebrew baby boy, they would throw you into a fucking stream and let your ass drown. Moses had to be hidden on a leaf, something like that, and he was sailed down a stream, and he was picked up and raised by the Egyptians. Now Moses, it does bring up that he may have had a speech impediment, but niggas don't get it twisted. He was like a brother that came from the suburbs, because he was raised by like the royalty of Egypt, and that dude was very, very, very educated and very smart. But one thing they couldn't get Moses to do was to forget where he came from. All right. Unlike today, many niggas is lost, but I'll get back to that in a second. So this movie Scorpion show women building these pyramids, and I would have to think that aside from special interests and things of this nature, for whatever reason there is, that many sisters worked on them pyramids. And I think a lot of slaves were bred to carry the large, bricks that they would make to create these pyramids. So that is kind of like an aptitude of your masonry, and it was probably taught to them by the Moors. The Moors probably taught Egypt, and then Egypt put that shit into science, because the Moors were good with mathematics. Okay, they were teaching mathematics and science and shit like that. And they put Egypt on game. Egypt built a crazy ass empire off the backs of slaves. All right. Remember, things move in cycles. So we see this again when we get brought to the Americas from the tip of Africa and from the west side of Africa. okay, if you're a Hebrew. So, in the same dynamic, we get over here into the Americas and we're in bondage, right? It says, by ship and way of ship, you will leave Egypt and never return to, right? We will go from Egypt to Egypt. It's talking about that pyramid on the back of your dollar, all right? This has been a long time running, kind of like herding cattle or sheep. And don't get it twisted, along with the number of black people that are being killed, there also is an aptitude that the powers that be would want a small structure of African American, so-called, or Hebrew people to be born, because they're coming into the understanding that, you know, the black man is blessed. All their little fucking, what do you call it, little ritualistic sculptures and things like that, it's not the same, okay? So in order for them to get blessed, they oppress the black man under, and they get blessed out that way, all right? So, you know, when you get into SNAP benefits and everything else like that, being reliant on the government is willing to go that far to reach out to you because they're being blessed dynamically in order to care for the people. You know, there's a reason why I say what I say, because I know that God is a thing, and I know that they can't really fuck with me. And the reason why they can't fuck with me is the fact that they have done too much. That's why Roe v. and Wade turned the fuck over, and now the black man's seed is worth $30,000. All right? Now, these American sisters, man, along with their high-mindedness, which probably links all the way to Egypt, and it is in Isaiah, the curses that came upon black women, and it specifically fits black women, okay? You know what I'm saying? You don't see no Israel chicks, you know what I'm saying, having trouble growing their hair, okay? The Jewish kind, right? But amongst sisters, that is one of the things. It is one of the characteristic traits of, you know, when they started having a high mind in Isaiah, they would have trouble growing their hair, and their spiritual girdle was removed. And that spiritual girdle is about impulses and desires. Now, I'm not saying all black women, so you corny bitches, get the fuck off of here, because you only are here to distract. But the fact of the matter is when that spiritual girdle is removed, I told you, that's when the impulses of the flesh start to come out. And that flesh is like an unchained beast, right? God keeps you from temptations. It's not that anyone is better than anyone else whatsoever. And, you know, in order to chase the bread or go after the bread, look at the pitfalls and the dynamics. Like I said, some people pay more for it. You know what I'm saying? If you a big, strong dude in Hollywood that have any type of Hebrew in you, they can't deal with that. They have to do something to keep you oppressed or kept down in a way, because we're difficult to control. Okay? That's what it boils down to. But the multitude, how it equates over to economic castration of the black man, is job opportunities force us into the streets and sell dope to the streets and get into other professions, tricks, and women. And who comes to the inner city to get them? The outsiders, right? The same ones that's pressing on. So by the time you get to the porn industry, you know what I'm saying? Like when I watch that shit, and I ain't proud of that shit, but one thing really annoyed me, man. Like, you know, as God delivered me out, man, like, it's like, okay, the porn situation can get real bad, and then you get into some crazy shit. But then it's like, after you grow out of it, you just want to see, you know what I'm saying? You might want to see a sister by herself. They don't have any solo videos. I know this is TMI for a lot of niggas, but you don't really see that. You get stuff like ghetto gaggers, or the most deplorable, humiliating thing when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, black female so-called porn stars or what have you. It's real derogatory. It's real disrespectful. All right. And so it's kind of like that same thing pertaining to like Christ taking on everybody's sins and going through all that punishment. Now that is the plight of the Hebrew man in this world, right? Only it's spiritual. It's spiritual in this case. So these sisters get dogged out, and then they come out of that studio without a natural affection. All right. that trickles down into society, because you got to look at all the viewers and things like that, people who watch pornography. I know there's niggas out there that will say they never do it, but you know what I'm saying? At the same time, how many niggas is talking about semen retention if so many people was already on that swagger? Only the people who are failing at it. I know that's some smash mouth shit for you to get your mind around, but that's what the fuck is going on. And the same thing coming to these chapters. You know what I'm saying? Some people pay more for it. Why? It's not so much that you have to pay more for it. It's just that you're more difficult to control. So the pressure is applied where needed, because at such point, after a certain point in time, you become a product, and they don't want to damage the product. So they got very intelligent with the mind control. Mind control, your whole shit could be fucked up and nobody will even know the difference when you walk into a fucking place. So it was wildly psychological. But there was an article around 98 where it talked about women were 7 times as likely to get hired for a job than a man. Now go back to when they were throwing the baby boys into the river in Egypt. Okay? So the girls, the women outnumber the men, for one. And for two, a lot of times you see the dynamics of a strong black woman. And right now they got that movie out called Woman King. And they're showing strong black women. They're still not really rallying for what they think they're rallying. And at the same time, they got the air in the movie called Emmett Till. Notice how these two things are playing simultaneously under the guise of Black Lives Matter. Really, it's echoing something far deeper, in which, you know what I'm saying, it speaks to the brutal hatred, and really it has nothing to do with distrust or anything else like that. It has to do with insecurity. Back in the mid-90s, none of them white boy bands and shit that was trying to sing could really fucking get... hold on, wait a minute. I will say this. That nigga, Justin Timberlake, that nigga might be part black. Now, that motherfucker got some soul, okay? I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Them white boys, fucking... I think it was NSYNC. Justin Timberlake, that motherfucker could dance too, all right? He was on a different level. But notice, you see, once he picked up with that shit, then all the other white dudes, they start picking up on that shit. Remember, in the mid-90s, white girls didn't have no ass. They had pancake ass to the motherfucker. Then all of a sudden, by like 1999, you know what I'm saying? On forward, you know, these white chicks start, you know what I'm saying? It's like they grew an ass out of nowhere. And this was before like surgery became prominent, right? This could be either spiritual juju stuff, but out of the things you do and the rituals you do, out of some type of magic, and it's like the soul or essence of a blackness is pulled or derived from brothers into the white culture, of which they identified heavily with black culture. Anywhere you go from, even from music to sports, okay, they're tied in onto the talent of no different than when you watch the Django and you have two big black slaves go at it to the death, right? So people are pit against one another. Sports, music, many of the creative talents and what have you. And we see this in Get Out in terms of photography, okay? Jordan Peele was hitting on some shit there, and it was deeper. It did not have to really pertain to, it's really deeper than race. Because your own will do it to you too. Your own will do it to you too. You got to keep in mind Judas and the 30 pieces of silver. And what do people go for? They go for that bread. Because in order to get around in this life, you know, that is a necessary function in terms of being able to survive, which it should not be. But that was put there for a reason, right? So to a degree, the first dynamic is subtle in the sense of not being able to buy or sell, given the fact that I'm not allowed to buy or sell because I guess I didn't join, okay? But if you do join, then you have enough maybe or opportunities to kind of get by, to buy or sell. But it's like, it's not a full mark, but it's like a half mark. Now, I ain't putting this on niggas for any type of guilt trip, but I'm just saying, if you look at I'm talking about the economic castration, and I'm talking about the pride of sisters is out of control. unless you go to them other countries. Now, I was really into fucking Colombia, because let me tell you, man, those women in Colombia, bro, let me tell you something. Yeah, they will make you drool. But at the same time, there was a brother who recently went, and I seen it on the O'Shea Duke Jackson show. And they got this shit called like scopolamine or some shit like that, some type of surgical shit. It's a topical, right? It says transdermal. I know derm means skin, like lubriderm, that means skin, right? Lubrication. So transderm means it's some type of medicinal topical situation. And I don't know if niggas get high on that shit in Colombia or how they fucking use it, but basically they get it on with the dude. The dude knocks out cold. You know what I'm saying? He's knocked out cold. Once he's knocked out cold, this nigga's not gonna wake up for a minute. They like fucking, they take hella shit and then they bounce. So they got all kind of scams running over there in Colombia. He had been talking to this sister for a minute. But see how that equates in their situation, that they got a tourist coming into Colombia, and due to the oppression and the economics there, for one reason or another, nobody is born and just says, I'm going to be a thief. These girls had it hard, and they go about their way to oppress upon their looks, and it's got to be challenging in Colombia. I mean, they got it going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's a large challenge that way. And they try to find a way to make means. So they objectify themselves. And there's no substance and value on the inside in order for them to connect. Only a means for them to derive revenue. Okay? Now, back to this economic castration thing. Women were 7 times as likely to get hired for a job than a man. So what does that happen? What happens at that point? Well, a man is working 2 or 3 jobs. A woman is getting those jobs hand over fist and working 8 hours and making more, nearly more than the man is that's making 2 jobs. All right? And the brother is sitting there and he's taking care of his responsibilities, trying to be a provider when he's making less. Okay? The woman is still able to take care of herself, get her nails done, her hair done, because these things are necessary for her keeping her job. And I wonder why. I'm saying a lot, okay? And so basically, okay, that's going to make it more difficult for a brother that has the role, the gender role, to be a provider, to be able to do that. So that castrates society of the minorities to not be able to reproduce, right? Or be dependent on government benefits in which they could tell you what to do, right? So, you know, Zaddy is the government, right? You got the government raising your kids, and you got drag queens going to 3rd grade, teaching, you know, sex education. You know, you got to work 2 jobs. You don't have as much time to spend with your children. They grow up and they get influenced by the streets or their environment, and then they become who they become. It's like a roll of the dice or a leap of faith, if you think about it, right? But the parents do what they can to raise them. You got to include single parent homes. How many brothers were forced into the streets that are locked up in the penitentiary for things that are now legal, right? And things otherwise, circumstances and situations that brothers are forced to get into. It's the risk that they won't take that's forced upon those to get paid a crumb of the bread who takes all the risk. And then society points at them and say, look at them, they're evil, right? So these are the dynamics that I'm speaking to you on. You know, you can't even have a brother like Nipsey Hussle, you know, get killed in his own hood by some nigga that he kind of knows, but it's like crabs in a barrel. You know, we can't even do good for one another, because there's always going to be that one nigga that's hate. Now, the conversational exchange that they had between them was quite accurate, because if you remember the conversation, Eric Holder was introducing himself to get on. I think he rapped a little bit, and then Nipsey was basically saying like, "Yo, get away from me, man," because the rumors or the things that he heard has been suspected that this dude was a snitch, and he couldn't be associated with any rats with his rap career. Think about it. He's from LA. That led him to getting shot in the face, where the dude, simply took it as a mode of disrespect. But it was disrespectful on 2 occasions, right? Why would he come to him with such a reputation? And at the same time, you know what I'm saying, he has to protect his image because he was a public figure. Okay? But these are the type of lifestyles, and it just shows you that even if you escape the streets, you're still under that lifestyle. Look at my life. You're still under that umbrella where you're forced to live that same lifestyle. Now, how is that possible unless it's orchestrated? Or maybe Hebrews just experience a whole lot of fucking coincidences, but it's the same thing. If you see a boy, throw him in the water. Planned Parenthood only in the inner city. Spirit of Herod. Okay. Roe v. and Wade, I believe probably some pressure from heaven, I guarantee you, came upon them niggas, and they said, hey man, listen, they were like Pointus Pilate, I won't have a hand in this. So, you know what I mean? Like, now, sperm donation type banks or whatever are saying that, you know what I'm saying, they have a shortage on black man sperm. Well, what would you need it for? Are you storing it in banks like you did every seed in the earth in Switzerland in case a natural catastrophe happens? This is the dynamics of a new civilization. To have the essence to create without the internal structure. That could possibly be a thing. I don't really know. I believe that since all experience judgment, that even clones would have a soul. But at the same time, and how they're created, that also could not be possible as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to say that these things are being collected, and they're saying that it's worth $30,000. This also came from New Breed's channel. One of the things that he dropped. Okay. So quite frankly, if you cut out the fact that the bank needs that sperm, okay, and that for people who are wanting that type of sperm is going to cost $30K, why couldn't a man just simply go and get a girlfriend? That's $30,000 for free. Now that's intricate, right? So technically the black man seed is worth $30,000, right? And I think that you will find in today's day and age is that it's not quite possible for one before the other, as in a black man can donate seed, which would be taken and accepted, but you're donating $30,000. Somebody pays for that which you donated, $30,000. Think about that. You don't get nothing. That's intricate. Even if they do pay, you get a fraction of it. Let's consider the homeless population that they do give a kick out sometimes, like they do with plasma, which is like $50, I think, per draw. Now, let's say they start putting up an incentive in this day and times of inflation that you get $50 if a man put some seed in there. Consider the homeless population, right? So these are business deals and things like that, and it's also kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, I think it's interesting. You will come to find that only the bank the sperm bank is looking for the black man's seed. Even amongst sisters, they are not doing so. The feminist and LGBT thing is very strong, right? And that's why I believe it's an aptitude of mind control, because it was like a turnkey. As soon as the White House was lit up with rainbow colors, all of a sudden, like, the world flipped, like, unanimously overnight. I gotta point that out. So with that being said, man, this goes at, that's that spirit of hair rot, okay? And with global warming and everything like that, you gotta wonder, why did Prince Harry go ahead and marry a black chick? Let's think about it. You see, there's certain things some people is afraid of, and there's other things that niggas is not paying attention to whatsoever. Why would we? We wouldn't know any better to. The melanin is real. So global warming is not one of our top concerns. All right? We're not the one impacting the planet trying to get out to space in the first place. Looks like we're stepping towards Elysium. So, Wiley, when you get into that, you know what I'm saying? You have economic castration, you know, less progeny between the black man and woman, and now you have these agendas. And in these agendas, women are choosing to go in their own way also. But the difference is that they're at peace with it. Nobody's really considered the babies over this argument. And it would seem that the consensus is quite content. That would make Roe v. Wade turning over like a slap in the face. And I think it's interesting. If this was the plan, this was the plan from the beginning. Right? Because black men, you are alone at the end of the day. You cannot join MGTOW. It's not the same as the other niggas. You can't red pill like other niggas if you haven't figured that out. Because at the end of the day, it's not when they throw, if it's a male, throw them into the stream or Planned Parenthood. Only if it's a male. They don't have a problem with the women. They know our women are beautiful also. So the black woman, she's got a lot of pride. And pride just ain't that tempting to a real nigga. So I find it attractive, the simple things, or maybe sometimes that which is unattractive but carries themselves in a certain manner. It's a dog day afternoon in 2022. They keep niggas tired and broke down 2 seconds from robbing a bank. Then they say we got trust issues. Well, they let theirs inside of storage build on interest. Maybe some of y'all could connect it, maybe some of y'all cannot. The war, if there was a war, has always been, and it has been over the future. Stop worrying about World War III. What direction can they go other than to obtain more for their greed? There is nothing that is coming after for them. So how will they understand the outcome? And how will they reach the peak of their plans? The peak of their plans is to seem conscious while taking you out first. And by taking you out, they'll become the village of the damned, because it'll be all over. God is coming back for a stock, and there also will be a remnant. So the black man's seed is low in sperm banks. Spirit of King Herod, the pride of black women, and the rise of these movies in the feminist movement, and the oppression that's upon the females and the oppression upon the men are two separate things, because females are generally in this world gonna be house niggas. We up in the field and Little John's daughter is giving us a gander. And we're not confused and neither is she, but here comes her father. She's got to start to kind of frown. Shit is kind of interesting. And in these things, just like when everybody leaves, the slave master goes out to see Bathsheba. And we don't think nothing of it. But if he's a black baby boy, throw him in a river. Y'all niggas better wake up. You can't red pill like them other niggas. You can't make towel like them other niggas, cause your females is against you and they're putting a versus between your oppressions. Figure that shit out. Kyrie Irving suspended for 5 games. I kinda understand. They're gonna make a stronger front on those that they can. But being omni-religious and knowing your Hebrew, you should have spared yourself the trouble, nigga. I don't really know you. And that's saying something. But I don't care about it because even if you hear this, I suppose you wouldn't get it. So, economic castration, Planned Parenthood, pride, black women, putting the verses between the male and female, oppression. We can see what this really what this war is about. And the women are emotional and confused and get spun around by the spin in the media. I tell you, America is done. I don't think I'll date a single girl here. Colombia comes with risks, and that's scopolina or whatever the fuck they use to knock niggas out. But quite frankly, I don't know. It's a little less dangerous than what we deal with here. You see, they take you for a day, the things they can get. The others here take you for years and take your life on top of it. Notice in my voice, because niggas are emotional, will say, he sounds angry. But care not to notice. I'm calm as it gets. It is what they say until on their last day when that laser ray separates them. Then they want to think about shit. But they don't think too good. Carrying it on today past economic oppression, battle of the sexes. Now you got the situation, niggas separated by chapters. When does the hazing end? Maybe that's the thing that lasts forever. Was you happier before you never had this? Think back before you joined and how your life was. Take a look at a few pictures. Maybe you didn't have all the things that you have now, but look at the difference. Time after time, I've been asked to join since Demolay to Masons, 5 contracts, and I never signed. That's a free will that I will have to live with. But thinking that I don't have the right to live, and I'm a Christian going in the way, y'all niggas are in the middle of God's business, and that shit is different. Now, look at all the conflicts that we have, and niggas want to talk about a race war. We're far less than 13%. Separate the women, they're deep in that feminine shit and LGBT. We can't get them out of it. They're gone. That MGTOW shit don't work for you like it works for others. Niggas in the hood with the chicks down in the streets would do a little different. They would have an opportunity. In the inner cities where there's Planned Parenthood and Herod sits on his throne. But what would their mentality be like? See, it all fits together. Many of our kind got mansions. How many rooms do they go in? One person in a fucking big ass mansion. Man, that's a whole lot of fucking cleaning. When do they rest? And even though they have their homes, they never near them. Sounds like a worse type of slavery to me. The type of slavery where you're spiritually blind and you actually think you're free. Home of the free have never been so sarcastic. Like I said, I tell the truth. With most niggas, it get drastic. The truth ain't bad. It allows one to see, so love is blind is quite backwards. They were looking in a mirror. Back to the education stem of where we started in Egypt, and we were talking about Moses, how he was highly educated, and so were the Egyptians. It was passed down from the Moors. When we talking about that shit, then we got to talk about the education today and how people most people read at a 4th grade level. How pop songs are just a near step after childhood songs. Nanny nanny boo boo type shit. Even in the culture, niggas who can't pull up their pants and it affects their mobility when they run. Knowing that we live on the run because we run for a living. And so in these things, man, I'll say to y'all, the education is different. People who are not even used to critically thinking, they call it conspiracy theories. Going back to what Newbury said, what are we gonna do with this information or whether we're entertained about it? I hate to break it to you, brother, but you gotta look at our mentalities. We still wear Disney shirts as grown adults. They're entertained by it. Even the men got the mentality of little schoolgirls. It's just the truth. Take a look around. Shiny things around the neck. But got a broke down car. Disney shirts with pants we can't properly wear ever. A sneakers worth our entire wardrobe. And they sitting down and they getting fed information and they think they gonna store that next to the new iPhone. It ain't going nowhere as far as many. Not at all. That ain't what's happening. They're intrigued and entertained by it. We got a phrase now, you know what I'm saying? People, you know what I'm saying? Between pronouns and political correctness and everything else, niggas can't even say anything. Like, that's sorcery. Where did our freedom of speech go? Think about it. How did it happen so quickly? We can't even figure that shit out. It's just gone. People in this world are too self-absorbed to give a damn about their own history. They're more concerned about Kyrie Irving being out of the game 5 games. I think that was their point, the ruler's point. look at what people pay attention to. How many people are going to pay attention to what those games look like over the course of those 5 games? An echo chamber, Kyrie Irving to keep his mouth shut, versus how many people are going to say, hey man, that dude actually, he stood up for the truth. You going to find that they only care about the 5 games. That's it. You know, so niggas is so into sports. Think about it. Niggas is so into sports, bro. Niggas is so into watching niggas on TV play sports. Yeah, I get it. They're in top physical condition and they're doing crazy ass shit, right? But niggas will lose their mind and have a nervous breakdown if they come in late to a fucking football game, right? It's the only time you see niggas gather together to watch commercials also. You can't get motherfuckers to do anything together anywhere, but sports can do it. They're entertained by it, and they're frustrated with the fact that he did something stupid to be put out 5 games. They don't give a fuck what it was over. People are too self-absorbed. So yeah, they will be entertained by it. And in terms of a great awakening, I don't think it's a real one. Because most people who say they woke are fast asleep. It's not really happening. I don't know what's happening, but God is definitely working, but nah, man. It takes a certain type of build, too, to deal with this shit. It's fucked up. It's real fucked up, man. Let me tell you something. Hey, and that spiritual game is heavy, too. Fuck. It's some heavy-ass shit, dog. But, peace and blessings with all you motherfuckers out there. I'm out.
Yo, this beat sounds like this sounds like Transform. Nah. Sounds like, Godzilla, just bitch like your drug dealer. Toronto winners, big chillin' in my chinchilla. 6-figure, told the label need to send it quicker. Before I bill her, brush my teeth and I do 10 sitter. Talking sweet like swishers, boy you wasn't that nigga. Talking big like you been him, I been himmer. Black Hummer, straight from a black Beamer. 2-seater, who's sweeter than me? I told my op I got a mop to sweep you off your feet. At 9 o'clock she said to drop and then we turn in your street. We spent the block a couple times and then we put it in peak. I caught my Glock and stroke my ego, no one cocky as me. I told my mama that I'm gonna be someone someday. She said you gotta find your path. I said I know one way, but mama wanted me to stay far away from the gunplay. But mama know I don't listen to nothing. Track kept jumping, runners kept running. I turn on the mic and I finna out to something. Now when niggas stunning, I teachers astonished. I wasn't a scholar, but I went ahead and got it. I wasn't a scholar, but a track taught me math. Lane taught me English, little bit of swag. Unc taught me how to fuck hoes, dad taught me cash. Now I seen the cocaine blues, Johnny Cash. Now I'm a bag dropper, tag popper, pill seller, slick comments, fuck around and log off ya. Gucci sweater, only wear it at the weather offer. Margiela coffin, I bet it be Barry Popper. Chinny chin chillin' in my chinchilla fur coat, body like Omega in my belt on Ferragamo. That means 24 for your niggas that didn't follow. Tell the officer that I ain't steal a comment, I just borrow. Big bottle, pour on models, she swallow. I'm a big baller, rolling L's, ain't no lines over. The nigga from Toronto, I ain't smoking, let's just fronto. She said, Valley baby, when you wanna poke it, I say pronto. ASAP, no Rocky, I'm popping. If you don't like me, why don't you try to stop me? That's right, you here and I'm Brodale shopping. Say that you'll remember you, I don't see no pop. I Godzilla, just bitch like your drug dealer. Toronto winners, big chillin' in my chinchilla. 6 figures, told a label, need to send it quicker. Before I bill, I need a
Literally been listening to that on repeat. Talking big like you been him, I been himmer. That's literally my new life motto. Talking big like you been him, I been himmer.
Been himmer, so these bitches wanna take my picture. Make it quick, I gotta pack, I gotta go and pick her. Then deliver till these pockets on Doug Dimmer. Talking big like you been him, I been himmer. I don't know why these niggas even bought at this point. Like, bro, not him. You never gonna be him.
I know what happened. You guys dropped acid, didn't you?
I'm him. Give it up, bro.
Craig doesn't have any pants on. He got fucking wild, probably danced, sweated all over the place. You got white shit all over your mouth, Frankie. You probably sucked somebody's dick. Jonah over here probably watched and jerked off. Jay, I didn't even know you were in town. Good to see you.
Danny, we're not on acid. We didn't suck each other's dicks.
James Franco didn't suck any dick last night. Now I know you all are tripping.